apparently there's a part 1 to this that we didn't see. Maybe we'll go back and watch it. But Matt Walsh, everybody, Matt Walsh is watching male feminist TikTokers, and apparently this is a part 2. So let's watch an out of focus Matt Walsh yell at TikTokers for a little bit, huh? Let's see.
Hey Matt, it's time to react to TikToks.
You know, if I were to come up with a ranking of species,
That was a weird
I think, of
start.
course, I'd put humans at the top, and then maybe chimpanzees, elephants, dogs. Actually, dogs would be even farther down. And then you get to like squirrels and rats and bugs. And then beneath that, you would finally get to male feminists. I don't like male feminists, in other words, is what I'm trying to say. We've watched some male feminist TikTok videos before.
A species, he says.
And I was just thinking that I'm not depressed enough today or angry enough, so we're going to dive in once again and see what the male feminists of TikTok have to offer us. So let's check.
You know what I like about that? The reveal there. I really like it. It resonates with me. I like it. It makes me happy. Brings me fuzzies that Matt Walsh is regularly depressed and mad. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he's like, I'm not depressed and mad enough today, means that he always has a level of depression and madness, like sadness and madness, that he is battling with perpetual disgruntlement is actually, that makes me feel good. Because fuck Matt Walsh.
Check this out.
When I asked men what they feared as much as a woman feared being raped, I had 3 answers
Didn't know we were talking about that.
to show up a number of times. 2 of them I think we can dismiss, and 1 of them seemed valid. The first one was that men said they feared not measuring up. But while that's a valid fear, the pressure you put on yourself to live up to your perceived role in society is very different than the fear a woman may have of what a man may do to her without her consent. Vastly different fears. Let's put that one aside.
I agree, sure.
The second one I saw a lot of was men saying that they feared being falsely accused of rape and having that ruin their lives. First of all, demonstratively untrue. Trump, Kavanaugh. Secondly, while rape statistics are notoriously hard to pin down, it's at least arguable that a man is more likely to be raped than to be falsely accused of rape. The threat is vanishingly small. So what checks all the boxes? What has the systemic, pervasive, the antagonism, the realistic threats of violence? The one that rang true to me was how black men fear the police.
I thought that we were probably going to say cops, yeah. Yeah.
Wow, so insightful. Okay, first of all,
I think that guy probably that had white lib vibes. You know what I mean? He's trying.
well,
I'd rather he was trying. It came across a little disingenuous, to be honest. Whoever that guy was on the TikTok. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's see what Matt Walsh hates about this.
I love how he wants to give examples. He wants to
It was milk toast. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
explain why false accusations of rape, wants to prove why that's not a real threat, and then he lists 2 guys who were falsely accused. That would be Trump and Kavanaugh.
Wait. But they were worried specifically about it ruining their lives. So that's why he listed those 2 people, because their lives are not ruined by it.
But before we even
One's a Supreme Court justice, the other was a president.
get to that, what the hell kind of bizarre question is this? How can I rank my degree of fear in a particular thing against someone else's degree of fear in something else?
It was about the number of people that fear it versus the number of people that fear the other thing, and how that applies. I mean, I don't know. I think it's interesting that you tend to you're like tacitly agreeing that men don't really have a similar normal fear like women have with sexual assault.
How do I even do that? And why? So now we're competing to see who has the most fear. Oh, I'm more fearful than you. See, I win.
What?
The appropriate response to that question is
really?
what?
No, that really wasn't what the. God damn it! You're making me defend the guy who I'm pretty sure would vote for Hillary twice. Motherfucker, Matt. The conversation wasn't who is the most scared. Ooh, we're competing to be scared. It was to illustrate that as men, cis men specifically, we just don't have as much to worry about from like the backlash of being whoever the fuck we are. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a ton of extra baggage that comes with being a white guy insofar as like how society will poorly treat you. Now, Matt Walsh is going to say, but if you're a white guy, you're the left's biggest enemy. And it's like, Matthew, I'm a white fella. I'm a white one.
What the hell are you talking about?
Why are you asking me that, you weirdo?
Who are you talking to?
I also don't believe that
Why are they
any
doing
man
that?
was actually asked, what do you fear as much as women fear being raped? And answered, I fear not measuring up. But if I were to actually...
Wait, really? I actually think that's interesting as a person who I would expect would side himself with men's rights activists more often than he would not. Like, part of like masculinity in general, whether you consider it toxic or not, is definitely how you measure up in the hierarchy of that. Like, Jordan Peterson wrote a whole book about it. You agree with the concept of that. What do you mean? Jordan Peterson's entire thesis is that there's a tremendous amount of anxiety on men to measure up to one another in multiple different facets of hierarchy, including sexual and capitalistic. And I would tend to agree that that anxiety exists. My disagreement with Jordan Peterson isn't his like hypothesis on I guess like the broad example of, is there anxiety in men? Yes. My disagreement with Jordan Peterson is like literally everything else that goes into that analysis on his part. To call it analysis is strong, but he spent a lot of time on it. But like, what the fuck? These pressures are put on men by other men, though. Of course they are. Exactly. Yeah. That's like the whole thing. Nodders, it's the chaos dragons and females causing toxic masculinity. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's an aspect of the toxicity that masculinity has that, all of society plays part in, right? Nonetheless, this isn't like, I don't know. I just don't think Matt Walsh here is giving a sound critique. Let's say that.
Engage the question.
The goddamn femoids. True.
Here's something that men could fear. I don't know, being murdered.
Sure. Literally, that last one was being murdered, by the way, Matthew. Ah, shit. You know the rules, Matt. You know the rules. I don't make them. I don't make them, Matt. You shouldn't have done it. I mean, you just shouldn't have. It definitely was your fault, not mine.
Because men are much more likely to be murdered than women?
Men are much more likely to be murderers as well. I wonder who be killing all those dudes. It might be dudes.
Was just a gorilla.
Thanks for following Lego Man.
Men are more likely to die in car accidents too, so you could fear car accidents.
Man, yes, sir.
Men are
Okay, yeah.
more likely to end up homeless or in prison.
Homelessness is bad, and prison is bad, yet we allow both. Strange.
Can I get a amen?
So, if prison is bad, is Matt Walsh saying that men are more likely to commit crimes? Huh.
Of all these fears, the police are the least rational thing to fear.
Police? Wait, what did you say? He said homelessness, police harass homeless people. Murder, police murder people. Incarceration, well, you don't get incarcerated unless you interact with police. And what was the other one? Car accidents? I don't know if we can blame all car accidents on police, but I will.
Especially for black
Police cause all car accidents.
men, as more unarmed white men are shot by cops each year
Not
than unarmed black men.
per capita, though, Matthew, which would be the only way that statistic would make sense, Matthew. Very fascinating. Very, very fascinating, Matthew.
But for both races, the incidents are so vanishingly rare that it's not worth thinking about.
It is worth thinking about. I think maybe, Matt, if we care about tyrannical governments, if we are the type of people that value our freedom, if we are the type of people that value our bodily autonomy and keeping the government out of our lives and having small government, I do think maybe taking the right of the government to take our lives away from them. I think maybe not allowing the government to murder us is a good step in the direction towards free, like a being free people. I don't think the government should be allowed to murder citizens. Seems like an easy one. An easy one for the freedom crowd.
That boy is good.
All right, let's continue.
Welcome to Consent 101, where I teach grown-ass men what consent is.
Ooh, we got a little bit. I'm going to be honest here. I think lose the beard, keep the stash, keep the mop on the head, better look. Or lose the beard, but 5 o'clock shadow, keep the stash. The stash and this almost mullet stays. Okay? That's what I think.
A lot of you seem to think of consent as an unbreakable trade agreement. This is normal when patriarchy cuddles your entire life to the point you feel entitled to someone else's body. You think that your is more important than a human person.
Okay, I'm loving the message. I am hating the stance.
What may be shocking to you is that it is not. You're not entitled to someone else's body. Your is not more important than a human person.
True facts.
And consent is not an unbreakable trade agreement. Once consent is given, it can be taken away
True.
in time that the person who gave the consent wishes.
True.
Therefore, if a person says yes 10 times but no on the 11th time, then if you continue, it is rape.
That's true.
Likewise, if a person says no 10 times but at the end gives in and says yes just to shut you up, it is at the very least sexual harassment and manipulation, and worst case scenario, it is still rape. If you need more elaboration, I would be happy to give you some. In the meanwhile, don't be a rapist.
Oh boy. His arm got tired. True. Okay. I mean, I didn't know we were going to talk about this, so we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about consent, chat. Definitely not a topic that has been going around on Twitter or on Twitch recently at all by anyone that we know. That's for sure. We don't have to even deal with it. Yeah, consent is important, obviously. I don't know what Matt's going to say here. I wonder what his umbrage with the consent was. Probably that last part. I think Matt's going to be very upset that says, so if I get consent, it's still not consent. I think he's going to say something like that. I know Matt in the past has had bad takes on consent, so I guess we'll see. Oh, boy.
Here we have, of course,
Okay.
the male feminist's favorite pastime.
What
He
is it?
enjoys nothing so much as talking about how opposed he is to rape. So there's definitely a he doth protest too much sort of situation happening here.
Oh,
Hey guys, listen.
Okay. Telling other dudes how to deal with consent is not, in fact, an admission of your lack of ability to deal with consent issues yourself. Matt, do you think it might be okay to talk about consent? Maybe. Under what circumstances can we talk about consent without being a he doth protest too much, Matthew?
Controversial statement here, but I'm just going to come out and say it. Rape is bad. That's like every male feminist TikTok video. Bold stuff, Chief.
That's it? That's it? I'm not going to play the Foo Fighters.
No one needs the videos explaining, well, this is rape. Rape is bad. Here.
Literally, yes, they do, Matt. What are you talking about? He couldn't have timed this more poorly. When did this come out? Yesterday. Literally yesterday it came out. He couldn't have timed the consent conversation any worse. Consent is incredibly important. If you don't know, I'm not going to show the tweet because I don't want the person to deal with more harassment from anybody. And I certainly don't want to deal with the community of the person or people who have been doing the harassing of those people. But there has been quite a lot of conversation about consent in the last week. You could say it was Matt's destiny to walk into this conversation at the wrong time. Consent is something that needs to be reinforced because obviously too many people are getting it wrong or disregarding it altogether. If we didn't have a problem with consent, it wouldn't be a topic of discussion. And obfuscating that and trying to get away from the topic makes me think, Matt, maybe this is a reverse card Uno situation. Maybe you have problems with understanding consent and how people can revoke them. how people can how people can engage with consent. So the topic of discussion here on Twitter lately, and on hopefully your next, hopefully not, but your next debate panel on Twitch, which I'm sure will happen at some point from some shitlord. Even though, honestly, the people that I normally would peg to do this one haven't actually done it. So kudos to the people who have been avoiding this on debate panels on Twitch. But basically, it was the concept of stealthing. And if you don't know what stealthing is, it's incredibly scummy. And if you've ever done it, you're a bad person. But you can hopefully reform yourself and learn that, hey, you did bad shit. You should never do it again. If you've never done it, you're awesome. If you've ever experienced it, I'm sorry. Stealthing is when two people, or more, I guess, but you have consented to do sexual intercourse with protection, a condom usually, and then in the middle of that, the person takes the condom off, not letting the other person know. That changes the consent parameters. There's no situation under which that isn't sexual assault or rape. It's just not fucking okay. There's not a situation that occurs because there was prior consent. Like, oh, we're wearing a condom. This is how we're engaging in sexual activity. This is how I want to engage in sexual activity. I don't want to engage with it in any other way. It's scumbag shit. If you disagree with that, you're a scumbag. Leave my community immediately. I'm not even going to try to convince you to stay. I don't want you here. You're a piece of shit. There's no situation in which you secretly change the parameters of the sexual interaction and suddenly that's not sexual assault. Sorry, bud. Again, your dick isn't more important than whoever on the other end is. And this doesn't have to be just, heterosexual coupling, right? This could be anybody at any time. If you change the parameters of sex, like, this is just not okay. I don't know why I have to say this, but the fact that I do have to say this runs counter to what Matt's trying to say in that, oh, hot take, rape's bad. Bro, it's not just about, like I think Matt only thinks, and Republicans only think about, and chuds in general, only think about, like, sexual assault in that, like, person A forces other person to do thing with, like, physical dominance. Right? That's not the only way. Destiny got his takes on consent from Mr. Girl. Sheesh. Whew. And the other person must fight back. Yeah, if they don't fight, then it wasn't a rape, right? Like, it's so fucking stupid. These people are actually dumb and harmful and just fucking scum. I mean, at this point, I think anybody that has these opinions should be banned from whatever platform they're saying these things on. Don't steal my condom with your Kegels either. That's actually, yeah, I've had them fall off before. Or get pulled off, rather. Yeah, definitely. Specifically, yeah, well, it's happened. I haven't worn a condom in some time, though, so it's fine. They're so tight, man. They're, like, just not comfy. But, like, I mean, if you want that, and that's how we're fucking, that's fine with me. They're not, like, uncomfortable. I mean, they'd be uncomfortable to, like, be in, but, like, yeah. Condoms do suck, but, like, there's a reason it sucks. It's because it's a prophylactic, bro. Pepe laugh? Oh no. Destiny laughed at the woman when she said that she'd yeah. Saying anything made him more violent. Yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I feel so sorry for her. She doesn't seem to care that much, but she tweeted about it today. I was like, it's not that big a deal to me. It's just that, like, as far as, like, emotional trauma, but it does seem, like, annoying and shitty. Like, just so fucking dog shit, man. I hope that's going okay. Yeah, she doesn't deserve anything. Of course not. No, it's fucking weird, dude. These people are fucking scumbags. Destiny and Mindwaves are fucking ass bags, dude. Trash.
Here's why rape is bad. That's one of the main problems with these anti-rape explainers, is that they seem to imply that rape is the result of misunderstandings
It is.
Every single
Sometimes.
person on earth knows that rape is bad, knows what rape is, and knows how not to rape people.
Again, this is not the only. This is not the only way in which sexual assault or rapes occur, dude. I hate having to talk about this. It's frustrating.
Everyone knows that. And then you'll say, well, what do you mean? Are you saying that there are no rapists in the world? No, of course there are rapists. They know that it's wrong and they're doing it anyway.
Rape, murder, arson, and rape.
You said rape twice.
I like rape.
What do you think, that there are rapists out there that are going around raping women and they're going to see this male feminist TikTok video?
Don't be a rapist.
So we're not supposed to do that. You're saying, oh, well, that's silly me.
A little, yeah. But again, these aren't just like violent, like we're pinning you down and we're attacking. Like, this is not what the conversation was about necessarily. I mean, obviously there's that when that happens, and obviously that's terrible. But we're talking about like the other stuff, the stuff where you think you're being sneaky and sneakily violating consent. You know what I mean? Like, still bad. Most fucked up part of the Destiny situation, the stuff that Destiny made fun of that girl, happened to his wife too. No, wait. That happened to Melina too, and he made fun of... That makes it worse than it shouldn't, but it does.
He also says, if a woman says no 10 times and then says yes, it's still no. So we shouldn't take a woman at her word? A woman can change her mind and decide that she doesn't want to have sex, you're saying. I agree there. But she can't change her mind and decide that she does want to have sex?
She can.
Or sometimes she can, but sometimes she can't, and it's up to you.
See, I knew he was going to take umbrage with that.
To decide which is which?
The message was not that she can never give consent again later. The message was, you can't just fucking browbeat someone into sex, dude. Just so dumb. He spelt profit wrong, but nonetheless, maybe we will profit. That's so fucking gross, Meek. That's ugh. She can, but if you're hounding someone and they give in, then of course it's yeah.
A few decades ago, private citizens used to be largely that.
Is he doing an ad? Okay, well, let's skip the ad.
Men fear that women will laugh at them. Women fear that men will kill them. And this is why men, especially straight cisgendered white men, are so incredibly fragile. Historically speaking, in patriarchal systems, when women piss off men, they are putting themselves in life-threatening danger.
True.
Which leads to women having to tone police themselves as a defense mechanism. Consciously or otherwise, women go out of their way to either withhold criticism from men or to deliver it as gently as possible, which results in an entire society of men that don't even realize that they expect to be coddled by the women in their lives.
Matt's gonna disagree with this because he's gonna like point at like, look at the you think this person that was mean on Twitter or something was being nice, or you think that, and show a video of a Karen or something, and it's like, bro, that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about like one-on-one, alone situations where shit could get bad. Like, and this is not just for obviously cis women or anything, but like trans women also have to deal with this quite a bit more.
And so when rightly receiving criticism or anger from women, men tend to react like toddlers.
Yeah, is he going to be is Matt Walsh going to talk about how people were mean to somebody in the media or something?
So gentlemen, shut up, toughen up, and listen to and acknowledge the reality of the lived experience of women.
This also goes into I mean, a lot of men can't take any criticism whatsoever. I'm actually dealing with that in my friends group right now. I have one person in my friends group who shall not be named, but if he's watching, I hope he knows who the fuck he is, that can't deal with any sort of fucking criticism, right? Needs to hear the criticism, absolutely needs to hear the criticism, but can't. It's not about women things or anything. Well, it's a little bit about that, but like you just need to be able to take criticism, bro. It's not the end of the world when someone criticizes you. You don't need to crumble into a million pieces. You don't need to fucking like oh my God, I'm not going to deal with this right now. Like, no, fuck off. Sometimes you need to hear about criticism, and sometimes it's a good thing. You will grow from this, right? Same thing here, man. Same thing fucking here, dude. Doesn't matter if you don't want to grow, you have to.
Because it shouldn't take a straight-passing, cisgendered white man telling you this for you to listen.
True.
Straight passing?
Straight
Buddy,
passing.
you're about as straight passing as a circle, okay?
Got him!
You pass for straight about as much as I pass for a 19-year-old black lesbian. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's just keep going.
That's it? It's the whole thing? So he didn't take any of the criticism, and he did act like a baby. Okay. Well, I can't. I don't know if I can play the whatever song this is. True.
Okay, so that was brave, and that was another brave and bold one. Me too. I am also opposed to that bad thing. I also don't like bad things, ladies. Someone give me a cookie. By the way, is sexualization is that a bad thing or not now? Because I'm confused. Isn't it empowering for a woman to use her sexuality in that way, or is it only empowering when she does it on OnlyFans?
Butterfly Koala, thanks so much for the 20 months. Well, for one, the sexualization of someone on OnlyFans is not being manipulated or exploited, because OnlyFans is something you opt into and do yourself, right? So the exploitation is much less. Butterfly Koala, thanks so much for 29 months, by the way. Did I say that already? Thank you. It just is not the same. As far as the sexualization in general, it's about how the sexualization occurs. The sort of concept that I know Matt Walsh would be very upset about, but the male gaze, it's sexualization for what purpose? Like, what are we doing? I guess the how you depict it and the who's involved and everything, it just goes into it, man. And sexualization is fine. I fuck. It's a thing. We talk about sex. A lot of us fuck. It's not a big deal. But what we are talking about specifically when we invoke like sexualization in conversations about like I guess the ethics of sexualization, whatever. It's sort of both. It's sort of like, well, why is this allowed but something like, nudity is not, right? Like, what's the difference if you're basically doing like a blowjob sandwich ad, right? And the other part of it is how much of it is just manipulation, and then how do these like sort of uses of sexualization in media and in ads and in capitalism, how do those flavor and inform the society in general? And the degradation of societal expectations and things like that. So, I mean, it's a broader conversation. Not necessarily is sexuality just a bad thing. That person specifically was talking about the capitalistic version of running like sexualized ads to get money from people, which is a little bit different. But I mean, we could tell you what, Matt, I'd be happy to talk about all of these issues with you literally anytime. Just let me know, dude. I think the big issue is people expect women to act that way for them. Yeah, I mean, this goes into the last one, too. Sometimes men, especially cis het men, tend to think that women are for them in some way. And like they're a little obligated to do stuff. Or nonetheless, that like men sort of deserve a certain something. Like, oh, I'm a good guy, I shouldn't be alone. And it's like, there's probably other reasons you're fucking alone, brother. Like, have you thought about, like, the other things that go into it? You could be a person that has the correct politics and the wrong mindset. Like, there's lots of things that goes, into the process of, like, being a man and having sexual partners and having, like, I don't know. Like, I think you can tell. You can get vibes from a guy when he's not secure, when he's not, like, and this goes for anybody, but I mean like guys that press too hard and like have a lot of urgency towards relationships, say they're a good guy, often performatively doing things but not necessarily walking the walk. Like there's a lot of little things that you can like suss out of the nice guy stuff. I'm a good guy, I paid for movie and dinner, give me sexual contact. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. When really you could just sort of like, I don't know. I feel like the compliments that I get from people, we have talked about this in the past. I don't consider myself the most like physically attractive individual. I'm not fishing for compliments. This is just my internal monologue about it. This is how I reconcile this in my head. You know, I'm not like a skinny guy. I'm not like a crazy buff guy or anything. I'm sort of a chubber, but I got a little muscle under there. But like, you know, I got a decent face and I got a good personality, but most of it's personality, right? I don't like, she didn't let me hit because I got fucking abs, bro. I've been fucking my whole life because I'm fun to be around and I'm easy. Now, it's not always been the case. I've had problems. I've had big problems. Like, I look back at myself 10 years ago and I don't want to be that guy. I definitely had some emotions that I needed to work out, and I need to figure out who the fuck I was, and you know, having relationships and having breakups and going through stuff and learning partners I liked or didn't like, and stuff I like and don't like in partners and in living situations and in myself. There's tons of stuff. You always got to build and grow, and hopefully in 10 years I think this version of me sucks too, or at least is less good than the version of me 10 years from now, right? Maybe not, I don't suck now. I think right now, as far as how I am as a person, in my 30s, this is the most realized version of me. And I think that's the case for most people. Like, today should be a more realized version of yourself than yesterday, even if you're necessarily more tumultuous or whatever today. Maybe you are going through a gender crisis, or maybe you're going through financial instability, or maybe you just went through a breakup and you're kind of like having like to reconcile who you are, who you were, and who you want to be. These are all parts of growth, man. This is interesting and good stuff. I look at myself a couple years ago and I'm like that. Good. Yeah, this is all good. Yeah. Oh, you spelled new wrong. Okay. I knew a guy and couldn't figure out why being around him sucked for so long. It was because he was always trying to be the most smart, kind, humble, hospitable. It was all about appearance. Dude, people can get really tiring too when they're performative like that. Like, just be whoever the fuck you are, man. Like, I know some people, I can think of some people off the top of my head right now that sort of mirror what's going on around them rather than being who the fuck they are. Be who you are. There are so many people that be who they think people want them to be instead. Now, I'm not saying being an asshole, right? Some people overcompensate. Like, some people, for instance, aren't like, they don't speak with their chest enough. They aren't like, you know, assertive. But then they, instead of just being assertive and being forthright, they're just cunts to people, right? They're just assholes. Why you gotta be just an asshole? There's a difference between being assertive and being an asshole, right? And like, I've had to deal with that. I've had to understand how to better communicate. Definitely. I've been severe before. The way I texted was too severe for a long time, and it got me into trouble because I didn't realize that I was doing it, right? I was just typing stuff, putting a period at the end, no one cared. But then it's like, hey, you sound like you're being an asshole. I was like, wait a second, why? I don't mean to be. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's just how it is. Sometimes you say things a certain way, and it pisses people off, and you know, y'all have to deal with that kind of shit. There's tons of stuff that goes into this kind of shit. Anyway, we got more general than whatever Matt was talking about, but we'll be back to it.
Or Pornhub. I mean, the woman who had her legs spread for the hamburger advertisement or whatever it was, she wasn't there against her will. The hamburger people, they didn't have a gun to her head.
Okay, I mean, capitalism sometimes requires of us to do things we wouldn't normally want to do. Now, that's not to say that every single model who has ever spread their legs for a hamburger ad has not wanted to do that job and is totally fine doing that job. If you are comfortable doing the hamburger ad and you want your legs spread, fucking go for it. Totally fine with it. Love seeing people express themselves however they want. And frankly, let's be real, sometimes that shit be eye candy, and that's okay. Eye candy is good, sexuality is good, and exploring that's good. The problem is the coercive nature of those markets on not only the people that produce those ads and take part in their creation, but the people that view them and how that affects society. And that's the conversation. It's not saying that's necessarily always 100% bad. Like, the TikTok is brief and it doesn't go into the nuance of it, but it is talking about just in general the idea that if I put, like, what's a vagina have to do with a hamburger? I want to eat both.
She chose to do that. And isn't that empowering for her to make that choice for herself? And what I know for sure is that if this had been a video defending sexualized advertisements as empowering for women, that same doofus on the right would have still been there with his hand raised saying, I agree. Because it doesn't matter what's being said. He's still going to have his hand raised saying he agrees.
Tell me about the time when you realized that the bar is super low for men.
I mean, I've known this for a while, but a good example of this happened a couple days ago. I was with one of my best female friends. I won't tell you her name because privacy, but she told me that when she first met me, I made her super uncomfortable in a predatory, assaulty sort of way. Well, I immediately started freaking out. I was like, yo, tell me what I did so that I can never do that to anyone ever again. And she said, no. It's nothing you did. You have nothing to apologize for. And she would go on to tell me that the fact I treated her with decency, respect, and like a person was off-putting because she thought, oh, he just wants to get in my pants. She told me that she only let her guard down around me when she found out I was dating someone else at the time. The fact that this guy is trying to manipulate me into sex seemed more likely than this guy is a good person is sad.
Okay, straight up though, 100% true. 100% true. Okay? Do you know how many times that I've just been nice to people and they thought I was flirting? And sometimes I get reciprocated with in that situation and I didn't expect it and I'm like, wait, what? We weren't flirting. I wasn't flirting. I was just being nice. I'm just like that. I'm sort of funny. I'm very comfortable talking to people and like I look people in the eye and I smile. You know what I mean? And I get it. Hey, look, I'm a little magnanimous, okay? If you get drawn in by the baby blues, hey, I can't help that. But it's not always my intent, okay? It's not always my intent. But it does make some people uncomfortable. It's definitely some people get vibes from some dudes like, oh, you're nice. I've definitely been told in the past that, like, again, part of the reason that your boy doesn't have problems in the lady department is that I'm never really trying to fuck. You know what I mean? I mean, not if we're in a relationship or sexual contact has already like been established, but I mean like on meeting a person, like I'm not just trying to fuck. You know what I mean? I'm usually just trying to say hello to people and just have conversations. The fucking usually happens like separate from that. Does that make sense? I've talked about this before in the like trying to give people advice when they say like, oh, I'm lonely and I haven't had a partner or whatever. And it's like, you're pressing. Definitely you're pressing. And when anybody gives you any attention, you don't just like, you put all your eggs in one basket and then you chuck that basket of eggs at the person hoping that they catch them and will deal with your bullshit and baggage. And then you like fucking trauma dump onto them and shit. Like just act normal, man. That's why y'all don't fuck sometimes, is because you're a little bit weird. And just understanding it's, by the way, it's okay and normal to be a little bit weird. You're not probably a fully realized person depending on your age, right? Like, my boyfriend accuses me of flirting when I'm just talking, so apparently I'm a flirt. I get accused of being a flirt too because I'm funny and just like talking to people. Now, sometimes I'm flirting for sure, but like not always. Usually I'm not always flirting. You know what I mean? I can flirt though. How to tell if a guy likes you? If a guy likes you? I don't know. I act totally different than most guys that, well, not totally different, but like I don't approach it in the same way. Like, again, I'm not trying to fuck. Like, if I meet you, I'm not immediately trying to fuck. It's just not a thing that I think about. And I think part of that is Not necessarily me being this smart, super good boy that's just like, you know, I think this is my deficiency. I think part of that is a hang up from not finding myself. Like, I am surprised when someone's attracted to me every time. 100% of the time, I am surprised when someone goes, actually, yes. Every single time. Like, I still argue with Sarah about it. Like, the other day, she walked up to me and she, like, was rubbing my face. That felt great. She's, like, rubbing my face and being all cute and shit. And she's like, you're just so cute. And I'm like, no. I just immediately said, no. I know she's attracted to me. I know she's attracted to me. But I just, like, reflexively was like, nope. You know what I mean? So I think part of that's on me. Nonetheless, was it this morning, too? We did it last night on the couch. That's what I'm thinking of. Low self-esteem? I don't have low self-esteem. I have no vanity. It was cute. You are cute. I love you very much. It's not... I have lots of self-esteem. I'm dope, okay? I'm pretty dope. I get it. Sarah's incredibly lucky. And also she can do totally better. What is that about? That's the problem. I don't have any vanity whatsoever. I feel like... You know what's actually something that I don't... I have felt... What is the word to use? Guilt is a strong word. What is it? I don't know how to describe this to people if you don't... I'm sure some of you, this resonates. I think the concept of someone being attracted to me... And then, if I'm attracted to them, I automatically think that they're, like, better looking, which is definitely the case, right? And then, there's a portion of me, it's not 100%, it's not even 10% really, but there's enough of me, that little asshole in the back of your brain, not an actual physical butthole, but like a cunt of a person. There's a little voice in my head that's just a piece of shit to me, and he says... in the just a dumb whiny bitch baby voice, like the words aren't right. The word I'm going to use the word guilt, and that's not the right word. Guilt is too strong a word, but I'm going to use it anyway because I can't think of another word. Basically, the idea is you should feel guilty because you're not X, Y, or Z. You know what I mean? Like, you should feel guilty because you don't have like you're not a fucking like model. Basically, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, like a heckler, like a little bit of a heckler, like, hey, fuck, but I don't give a shit about him. I do it anyway, every time. It's never stopped me from anything. You know what I mean? Insecure? I guess, but I'm not insecure. That's the thing. Like, it's not a full insecurity. It doesn't even count, right? Because I still go through with everything. It's never stopped me. I've always had the confidence to overcome that voice. The voice remains, nonetheless. You know what I mean? Like, because intellectually I can go, well, they're fucking naked and we're having sex. Still basically insecure. I mean, it might, sure, whatever, however you want to say it, but I'm saying it's never, like, been enough to, like, stop anything. Imposter syndrome? Ooh, maybe. It's a little of that. Yeah, maybe it's a little imposter-y syndrome. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's never once stopped me. Right? It might make me more measured, though, in my shot shooting. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing. As far as, like, I don't know the words to describe that thought process. Because it's not like a sentence. It's just like a feeling. It's interesting, though. Wasn't until you got in shape how much you realized you hated about it. See, I was in really good shape for quite a long time. Or not quite a long time, I guess. Enough time. Nothing for me. Nothing. Not a little bit of serotonin was given for being in shape. Nothing. I just don't think... I think it might be body dysmorphia. But I don't look... I'm not disgusted by myself. So, like, light version of it? I don't even know how to describe it, dude. It's just like, I'm not, like, negative about myself. I'm not positive about myself. I have neutral... I'm neutral. You know what I mean? Like, I have no vanity. None whatsoever. I just can't, like... I hate my body, but honestly, if I get any sort of positive physical affirmation, I immediately feel better. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But you're a hottie, you know what I mean? You're just not your type. I'm going to be totally honest, Hot Prince. I 100% think part of it is me not being attracted to male bodies like myself. Like, there's just nothing about me that I find attractive. I don't find it necessarily unattractive either, though. Like, does that make sense? Like, I just like, no, that's not for me. So I can't like identify what it is that would be. I've never once felt myself. Does that make sense? I thought some days like, oh, your face is nice. You're not your type. Why? What the fuck? Feel like a mannequin, then I get to dress up. I don't even like dressing up, yeah. Fellas out here thinking they're hot, what are they, gay? I think there's an aspect of being able to recognize what makes someone attractive that might be a little self-gay. You get to be gay for yourself, guys. When I think my thighs are cute or something, makes me want to chomp. I mean, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta bite that shit, dude. Anyway, let's finish this Matt video. By the way, Matt would not have the confidence to talk about any of this shit, which makes me manlier. What a bitch.
Lots of things are sad about that. I mean, but you know what? I take it all back. Everything I said about male feminists, they're not a bunch of dickless weasels, it turns out. They're heroes. I mean, this guy recorded a whole video to tell us about the time that he was so nice and gentlemanly and respectful of a woman that she assumed he was a rapist. I'm such a nice guy that women think I'm going to rape them, is what he's saying.
Again, why are we doing the same meme? Why are you doing a... What? Same meme. Already did that meme. Can't do it again, dude. Unless you do it so much that it becomes funny, but you didn't.
Because that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? By the way, if the story is even true, which probably isn't, isn't this a story about a cynical, self-obsessed woman who assumes that everyone around her is trying to sleep with her?
I'm going to be honest, though. If you're a woman, everyone's probably trying to sleep with you. It happens, dude. Especially like young. Like in your I was going to say 18 to 40 or whatever. It's younger than 18, and that's gross to me. I just realized. Yeah. Pretty much from puberty to like your 40s. And even beyond that. I mean, let's be real. The older I get, the higher that ceiling goes, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I like when I was 18, when I was 17, 18, I never thought 35 would be hot, but I mean like 35-year-olds be looking way hotter than 18-year-olds. That's for sure. Way hotter. Find it impossible to believe that people around me want to fuck me just for being a woman. I mean, I really don't. It's. I'm telling you. Femoids, yeah. As a 35-year-old, I appreciate that, dude. I mean, it is. It is what it is. I know they call them MILFs and stuff. I used to date a MILF, right? She wasn't a very good partner, but she was, you know. How's Sam Cedar gotten like 10 times hotter as he's gotten older? Well, you know, I have no idea about Sam Cedar's hotness. Is Sam Cedar considered hot? Seems like a fella. Seems like a guy. You know? I don't know. See, Matt.
Is his friend AOC, by the way?
Wow.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to be raped?
Yeah.
All right, we'll try. I can only endure one more, so let's...
What? Why are we making fun of AOC for feeling... Wait, what the fuck? That's so fucked up, dude. I actually didn't know that was a thing. Like that. That's sad, man. During the insurrection? Oh, God. That's fucking sad, bro. Well, that was so fucked up. That was, like, just really gross.
All right, we'll try. I can only endure one more, so let's continue.
Men fear that
No,
women will
not this guy again. Shut up.
Women.
All right.
Because let's be honest, feminism has left men behind.
No, that is factually inaccurate. The very things you describe in your video as feminism for men are things that feminism have enabled men to do. Only feminism has allowed men to create the spaces where they can behave as they want to without fear of retribution. We benefit from feminism every day. We benefit from feminism more than women do.
I'm not even sure what he was trying to say there. I honestly don't know. But in fairness, that video probably didn't really belong in this compilation anyway, because we're talking about male feminists, which would seem to exclude anybody with purple hairs.
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa! I've had purple hair before. You know what I think, Matt? You know what I think? I think maybe you're not man enough to be secure in your masculinity if you had purple hair. That's what I think, you little bitch. Let's fucking arm wrestle. Matt will probably beat me. I haven't been arm wrestling in a long time. But that's okay. I'll have purple hair. I'll look fucking delicious. I almost want to just dye my hair purple right now because of that. God, that's annoying. Oh my God, dude. That's so frustrating. Matt telling other dudes that you can't look a certain way or you're not a fucking man, dude. What a fucking loser. Hey, men in chat. You're a fucking man. Whether you have purple hair or not, it doesn't matter. You can have any kind of hair. You don't have to have hair. It really is, it's irrelevant. Okay? Gender's biological, but also your hair color. Okay? Are you any biological males in chat? Biological. Not if you have purple hair, you're not. So. Can always tell. Unless they got purple hair. P is stored in the hair color. That's real dumb. That's pretty fucking stupid. You're not into football, so you're not a dude. That's true. That's true. Anyway, that's the end of the Matt Walsh thing. I guess the takeaway from that video is that the only people that can be men are Matt Walsh. He's the only one that does it enough. The rest of us are just little bitches. This is what it is, man. I guess that's just how it's going to have to be.